Having some issues with my Twitch sending out notifications for the wrong games. So I am not sure if you are here to see Fortnite or Sea of Thieves or Farm Together. So it's been a weird thing. Let me see what I've got. If you happen to be able to hear me, maybe you can post in the chat what you see. Oh boy, let's see what it's doing here. Looks like it depends on wherever I post it, because when I post it to Facebook, it says Fortnite. When I post it to... Actually... It says Farm Together. Well, I'm gonna go for it. So the purpose of this stream is really to build video content so that I can do a tutorial video for my YouTube channel, free tutorials. And I wanted to show people, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But I wanted to show people how to get started. So to start with, Farm Together is a game that is designed to be stress-free. If you've ever played any of the little phone games that are like, I can't think of the names of them now, but it was like, they're farming type games, but your properties will your crops will rot and things like that if you don't harvest them in time. This doesn't do that. Alright, getting started takes a long time. It's a real ramp up in learning how to get going, and it's a real slow process to start. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my farms, and down at the bottom you'll see a thing that says create. And I'm on the Xbox, so my option is X. I'm going to do create, and you have four different styles here. A little bit of everything is, kind of a nice mix-up. Watery terrain, there's a lot of rivers and lakes and things like that. The mountain rocks and, muddy slopes and stuff, that's a little harder to deal with. The easiest one to plant with, well, let's see, that's hard mode. Less money and experience, but it's flat. So that's nice if you're trying to get established. Like if you like to just plant, maybe you're OCD like me, and you want to just be able to plant and not have anything in your way, you might do that, but you don't get as much money or experience in your crops. So it kind of depends. Like your default terrain, the little bit of everything is probably what I would start with for this. I think I'm just going to do that one. And now I get to give it a name, so I'm going to call this one Tutorial. Actually, I'm going to call this one Free Tutorials after my channel. And alright, so I got my new farm here. It's called Free Tutorials. You can see up there that it is springtime. It's got the little clover. That I have 2,000 coins, 10 diamonds, and I'm level 1, so I'm going to go ahead and click it. Okay, so you start off with a bus stop and a bunch of random trees. If I walk up to them, you can see that in my apple tree, or in my lower left corner, it says apple tree. And if I walk over to this tree, it says lemon tree. And also lemon trees. I have a little wishing well here. I have some other miscellaneous trees over here, some miscellaneous crops, some carrots, lettuce, potatoes, blue grapes, peanuts, different kinds of flowers. Looks like a few chickens. These are leghorn chickens. And then some more lettuce. Alright, so you see this one here has a basket above it, and that means it's ready to harvest. These have water jugs above them, and that means that they could use some water. So like for example, if you look down in my bottom left corner, it says it's going to take 57 seconds. If I water this just with the A button, then now it's going to take 25 seconds. So it cut the time in half. Now watering does not take any resources from your inventory or anything else. So it's a good idea to do that. Now you can also see when I walk, he's not going very fast, but if I hold the right trigger, he walks a little faster. Okay, so I can run around and water some things. Now all of these things are movable, destructible, whatever it is you need to do to get your farm going. And you'll see that there's these walls all around your little plot, because we just bought this one little farm. And if I walk up to the wall, it says that I can buy the next property, but I have to be level 3 to buy my next property, and I'm still just level 1. Alright, and if I hold the button to view my map, you can see that I have that one center square, and I can buy all those other squares around it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more properties that I can buy here. But really, they go beyond that, and I'll show you a little more advanced farm in a little bit. So before I get started too much in harvesting things, I can go to my button that lets me look at my quest log. You can see it's got how to play and, you know, farm settings and whatnot. But if I go over here to my quest log, these are the things I'm supposed to do right now. Now I've already finished this lovely harvesting on my other farm, which is why it still shows here. That's an event. So events give you special stuff, like these things that you couldn't get otherwise, the balloons and the little table chair set and things like that. Actually, this event is kind of cool because one of the prizes was unicorns, and you can't get unicorns other than this event. Alright, but the next one here is the one that I have to do now, and that is to harvest 21 lettuce, 10 apple trees, and 12 carrots. Or no, 20 carrots. But you can see I already have 21 lettuce planted. I have 10 apple trees planted. And I have only 12 carrots planted. So I'm definitely going to have to plant 8 more carrots, right, in order to get those done. Now the nice thing about this is the apple trees, any trees, you don't have to replant. So let me go ahead and go back. Actually, let me go back to my quest log. And if I go down here on the Xbox, if I press the X, It doesn't look like it did anything, but now my quest is up in the upper right hand, and I can see what it is I need to do. Kind of keep it live. All right. Let's see what else. All right, so now the problem when you first start off is you don't have a tractor. In order to get a tractor, you need to have two medals, and those are the MEDALS. Up in the upper right hand corner, you'll see that I have 0 medals. Now, this challenge over here, this quest, if I go back and look down at what my quest says, I get 1 medal and 10 experience for finishing this. Now, why do I care about medals? So, if I want to go and buy something, like in this case, you can see that I can buy these two things right now. A vegetable stand would be 1,000, or another well would be 4 diamonds. Now, what you can't see is that one of these things over here, this one I believe is our little gas station. I'm trying to see for sure. I can't really tell. Yeah, it looks like a little gas station, and I have to have 2 medals to get the gas station. Without a gas station, I can't use the tractor. All right. So if I was to go here and start to harvest these lettuce, you'll see that I now have harvested 1 out of 20. So now my dirt is plain. So if I click it again, I can plow it. Alright, now I'm doing this instead of doing anything with my trees right now. Because I want to try to get these 20 lettuces out of the way. And I'll show you what I'll do with my trees here in a minute. You can see that I get money and experience for doing that, and it costs 10 for me to plow my little plot. And let me zoom in on my little guy here. You can see I'm a little overdressed for what I'm doing. We'll show you how to customize in a little bit. Alright, but you can see that even though it's nighttime, I've got this little blue butterfly following me around, and that provides light to what I'm doing. And you've got this nice subtle music. It's really designed to be kind of stress-free. It's a little difficult for me sometimes because I'm OCD and I want things lined up perfectly. I'm also a completionist, so if I don't have all of something, it bothers me. And I'll explain that as we go. Alright, so here's some more things. Here's some peanuts. I probably should hold off on the peanuts just in case we get a quest for some peanuts, but now notice that these are flowers, and it's going to take 1 minute and 2 seconds, and if I water them, no, 1 hour and 2 minutes, sorry, it doesn't change that. What's weird about flowers is that watering them doesn't help them grow faster. I'm just going to pull these lettuces. But what happens is, if the flowers stay watered, you get more money for them when you harvest them. But you can go and not water flowers or plants or anything at all and just wait them out. It's okay. Again, the idea is to be a stress-free game. Whoops. Uh-oh. One more lettuce here. Okay, so now I've completed my lettuces over there. You can see over the upper right. And I've still got to harvest 10 apple trees. A lemon. So there's an apple tree. And it says I have 10, so theoretically I should be able to get them all. Oops. I do that a lot. So don't feel bad if you do that. Alright. I've got 2 more apple trees somewhere here. Gotta figure out where I've missed them. Looks like over here. Alright, we're gonna fix this here in a minute. And by fix this, I mean get them a little bit more organized. Alright, so now I've finished all my carrots. I mean all my apple trees. Now I have to plant 8 more carrots. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here to my plant, or my build, or whatever it's called. And I have to plant those. You can see that those are required because there's a little lock looking thing up at the top. That just means that I have to plant, or that that's part of a quest right now. Right now it's out of season. It says I can plant it in spring, fall, and winter. And of course it's summer. So the one season that I cannot do anything. Now, I can also harvest these fish, but because they're not part of a quest yet, I don't want to harvest them just because it takes a while for them to be ready again. Alright, so let me figure out what I'm going to do with these trees. So here's an apple tree, and if I click my right stick down, you see it put a little checkered kind of dashed box around it. That means I can go and move this tree somewhere else. So I tend to try to get all of my trees and stuff in the same area. And I might as well stick it over here next to where I start off. Alright, and so these are also apple trees. And if I click and click the other one, it lets me select 2 at a time. And in fact, let me go down here, click, click. I can do this. Okay, so let's see, these are lemon. I don't need those yet. The apple's kind of the deeper green. And you can see when I've got it selected, you can see what it would look like when it's ready to harvest. It shows me the apples on there. Alright, so again, I'm just moving these trees so that they're a little more convenient when I need to harvest. And there should be one more apple tree somewhere. It's way back over there. Now, you don't have to only move one type of thing at a time. So for example, if I was to click that and then go to my lemon trees and start clicking those. Oops. Just about have all of these. This part of the game is not the exciting part. You can really do some amazing things with this game. So again, here's an apple tree. And I think I will leave these next 2 spaces here so that I can add more apple trees later. Just because I'm OCD. And in fact, if I want to leave a space between these trees and put all my apple trees or my lemon trees together, you can see that it's right now I'm out of lemon trees here. Alright, and I don't need to really plant anymore because the only thing I really need to worry about right now is my carrots, and I'm still waiting for my season to change. You can see up there that my summer is, I don't know, a third of the way done, I guess. Alright. These roads are the same way. They can be moved. if you need to. It just makes you run a little faster or drive a little faster. I'm going to move my wishing well over here just to have it kind of near me. And if I click it, I see it's got a harvest button. All that does, it gives me 25 coins. Now, later on, you'll probably get rid of your wishing well because 25 coins is nothing. But right now, it gives you enough money to plant some crops. Okay. So here, potatoes, I'm just going to water these. You see that it drops the time in half in some cases, depending. Then with the blue grapes, it takes it from 54 minutes to 27 minutes. And again, I'm trying to resist the urge to harvest those peanuts, just because I don't want to mess it up if there's a quest. Now, the little berry looking thing, the fruit indicator up above them, means that you can feed these chickens. Otherwise, like, it says no food in the bottom left corner. If I was to feed them, it tells me it's going to take 4 minutes and 19 seconds to harvest that one and 3 minutes and some time for the other ones. So if I don't feed them, that time will just stay there. They'll never be ready to harvest. Alright. And these fish, they're tropical fish. Looks like I have 6 of them. I'm going to go ahead and harvest these just so that you can see them and we have some time to kill. So if I was to hold down my button, you'll see that I harvested 1 square, but it harvested all of them. That's one of the nice things about fish. So for example, let's say that I have, I don't know, let's say this entire plot over here is nothing but fish. I can come up and just fish out of one little spot, and it would probably have to fish for quite a while, but it would eventually harvest all of them without having to go square to square. Alright? Which I've actually used to my advantage, because I have there's some fish you can plant together, and some fish don't do well together. So, in fact, like, if I have piranha, I can't plant them with these other fish. So, what I would do is I could plant them next to these, and then just have like one little strip of each coming up, and I just have to fish this one and then fish this one. Same with sharks. I can have sharks kind of here, and it's nice to be able to get to all at once. Alright, now one of the other nice things about this game is that while you're waiting for things to happen, here my 25 coins already again, while you're waiting for things to happen, if you were to leave the game, the timer continues. So you see I'm about little over halfway through the summer. I'm going to exit this game. And if I go to my farms, and I'll show you another farm here, like Swashbuckler Cove, for example. The idea with this one was that I was going to try to do an island sort of thing. Now, it's become a place for my friends to harvest these cotton candies, which is a weird crop, but it's part of that event. Alright, but you can see that I've got these fish, and if I look at my map, I have all 9 plots open, but again, you'll see that up at the little reddish kind of markers around the edge of the screen, that shows that there are properties you can buy, and once you do that, it expands this a whole bunch. So each of those areas are kind of like island, and you can see that I've got the fish around the island. So if I was to go to harvest these, I'm harvesting all of them from one spot. Now you can see that the nice thing about fish is every time I harvest this, there's 2,000, 1,800, 2,000, 2,000, etc. And when I come back a couple hours from now, they'll be ready to harvest again, and I don't have to plant anything, feed any animals, or anything like that. I'm just going to stop right here. And these things, because they're harvestable, they're a plant. If I harvest them, they're gone. Now you can see that because I have my tractor on this one, I was able to harvest 9 at a time. And till the soil for 9. So if I go again, alright. If I go over here to my, these are my almond trees. If I was to do this, it harvests these 2 and leaves the tree there, so that the next time I come back around, I'll probably be able to harvest these again. The difference with this is that with trees, you can only harvest them at certain times of year, certain seasons. So let me go down to my cypress trees here. You can see that I can harvest them right now, and they give me like nuts. If I go across here to my unicorns, let me show my unicorns. My unicorns need food, so if I was to feed them, notice that was 6,000 and then 3,000 to feed them. Different things can be expensive like that. My flowers, I can harvest, and they kind of change, but they're still there, so that when their season comes around again, I'll be able to harvest them again. In this case, about 2 hours, you can see in the bottom left corner. Now notice that my banana trees I cannot harvest right now. Nothing to harvest. My lemon trees here I can harvest. My apple trees I can harvest. The nice thing about apple trees is that you can harvest them every season. The bad thing about them is you only get 10 coins per tree. Alright. Again, here's another example of some fish. Bass, you can only plant with bass. Now you notice I got diamonds for those instead of coins. Different things will give you different kind of property yield, or harvest yields. Alright, so these things, it says at the bottom left, my Romanus roses, I get 287 coins per square. So if I do this and I harvest 9 squares, it's 287 times 9. Now these over here were part of an event. These are Edelweiss. And I get 5 diamonds for each of these squares. So that's 45 more diamonds. 45 more diamonds, etc. Now, the difference between diamonds and coins is when you go to buy something. If I was to go up here to, for example, this, to get myself an animal feeder, it takes 4 metals. The gas station is 2 metals. Barn is 250 diamonds. Now you can see that the big red barn will increase the amount of capacity you have by 100 for your resources. Now all of this isn't like critical. You can just play it and just have fun with it. But if you look here at off to the left, it tells me that my fruits are full. I can only have 50 in my inventory. Same with fish, same with fabric, those are all full. So if I was to go over somewhere, let me find a place to put a barn here. And I go to the big red barn. Right about there. Alright, so it cost me 250 diamonds, which is a lot of diamonds. But if I go to my inventory now, you'll see that instead of having space for 30 milk, I have space for 130 milk. you know, instead of space for 50 fruits, I have 150 fruits. So in the long run, that's really going to pay off. Plus, it looks cool. All right. This little barn over here, the small barn, it gives me 10 extra. All right. So anyway, this is just another type of farm. And somewhere on here, I built a house. In this case, because I'm trying to make this look like islands and stuff, I built the crashed pirate ship. Alright, so if I was to go up to it and go enter my little house, you'll see that I have rooms here. Now, right now I can work on my painting. You can see that it's got the pencil tool here. Alright, and now I can go over here, and because I have this package looking thing on here, that means I can finish this thing. Alright, so I've leveled up my Mary Had a Little Lamb thing. So now, since I finished it, I only have the choice between one song, right? So like, in order to do this song, I have to level up my Mary Had a Little Lamb to level 3. Well, this is Mary Had a Little Lamb, so I guess I'll be practicing that again. If I want to continue my cooking over here that I've got, you'll see I have 2 stoves here, but it says I'm going to need 6,000 coins and 15 of the purple looking things and 5 of the little blue things. So if I go up to my little thing up here, I can see that the purple things are vegetables. I've only got 10 vegetables right now. Alright, and then the little round... Which thing is it? Surely it wasn't fabric. Oh no, that's not round. Okay, it looks like fish. So 5 fish, which I should have plenty of fish. I have 50 fish right now. So I just need some vegetables. So pretty much any vegetables, and I can do that one. And then this is the same food, so that's what I need for that. That's why it's not a blue pencil. Alright. This thing says it's going to be ready in 13 minutes. My song will be ready in 18 minutes and 52 seconds. Alright, so if I want to buy something for my house, I can go and decorate. So you can see you can buy stoves for 15 diamonds. An easel is 25 diamonds and 3 tickets. Now that's the problem too. You can start off building a stove or 2, but in order to buy this, you need tickets. Well, you see up there I've got 4 tickets, even though this is an established farm. If I was to finish this thing, I will end up with some tickets. Same with this. That's why I have 4 tickets now, is because I just finished that song. Alright? So now I can buy more things for my house. You can decorate. You can put in things like couches and things like that. It doesn't get you anything. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this farm. And I'm going to go back to the farm that I started for this one, free tutorials. I'm going to go to my farms. Free tutorials. Alright, so I still have these random things I accidentally put in there, so I can do that and it gives me back a few of my coins. Alright, now you can see that, oh, it's fall now, which means that I could probably harvest some new stuff, like my apples. Now I have to not forget to plant my carrots because they can only be planted, well, they can be planted in 3 different seasons, but I don't want to get sidetracked and not plant my carrots. And again, in the beginning, keep checking your well. See, for example, if I wanted to plant some new trees, just to kind of even these out, I can go over here and I get 10 for every time I harvest an apple tree. If I decide, oh, I want to plant more of those, then I can go over here to my apple trees, and it costs me 100 to plant an apple tree. All right, so that's expensive if I only get 10 for them. But if I can harvest them every season, that means every year I get 40 coins. All right, so what do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. The other thing is, I just spent hundreds of dollars now to plant those. This will be ready in another 54 seconds. And if I can harvest this well 4 times, that pays for 1 tree. Alright. So, let me see. There's 8 spots here. I'm going to go ahead and go and plant 8 carrots, because if I look at my little quest thing up at the top, I need 8 carrots. Alright, and again, it has a water bucket here, so it's going to take 20 minutes for my carrots, and if I hit water, now it's going to take 17 minutes. So the nice thing is the water bucket things will probably come back up here in just a little bit, and I can do this again. Alright, so while I'm doing that, what can I start on? I may go and plant myself 3 more lemon trees just to be even. If it's the season, and it's not. Actually, it doesn't let me plant lemon trees yet because I haven't unlocked them. They just kind of came with my property. Looks like I can't put any fish down yet. So I'm kind of limited on what I can put out. Now, if I have the diamonds, I could put a couple more wells out. Just to give myself a few extra coins. But I also want to make sure that I have enough. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay, so I've used up all my diamonds now. 25 more coins. Now, diamonds, if I was to harvest things, depending on what it is I harvest, like this is coins, my potatoes. These are also coins when they're ready to be harvested. I can water my flowers again. It doesn't take anything to water them, but it will give me more money when I harvest them. Peanuts. Okay, so you can see that my chickens are now ready. I get 85 coins for each chicken. Again, I want to hold off just in case. Eggplant. Okay, this one, see, it says it's going to take 4 hours. If I water it, now it's going to take 2 hours. Okay, these will be ready in 13 minutes. Alright, so if I run back over here to look at the crops that I have, my carrots are ready for water again. So now it was 20 minutes, now it's 14, now it's 12. Okay, and so while I'm waiting for those, and that's all I have left to finish that first quest. And that after I finish that first quest, I will have... Let's see here. Yeah, that's my gas station. So I have to be level 2. Alright, so while we're waiting, I'm going to jump down and exit the game again, and I'm going to show you another example of a farm. Alright. And this one I'm going to go to Event Horizons. I set this farm up just for specific events and experimenting. So you see here how I have 2 larger gas stations on this one. And you'll see that up in my top left corner, my fuel is pretty full, but if I do this, it fills up. Alright. I also have fruit presses and shops and different kinds of flowers and stuff. And again, I've got this giant field here to plant things. And if you look at my quest there, I'm supposed to have 60 leeks. So if I was to go down to my thing here, there's nothing that I can plant right now that's part of a quest. All of that stuff is out of season. Alright. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. If I wanted to go... Now you see that I leveled up my carp and my mussel and I'm not doing anything. The reason that that's happening is because if I go down here and I look, I've got a hired hand here. And he's down here fishing. And you'll see that I have all of these different types of fish connected with one little connection. Except these, I have piranha and I have anglerfish. You can plant them next to each other and they interact fine, but the other kind of fish won't connect. Over here are bass, and these are shark. And my little hired hand guy is going to come and, well, he should be harvesting the sharks. Interesting. I don't know why he's not. Oh, there he goes. Now, when you go over this, you'll see that a little dashed thing kind of appears all around. Like, it kind of goes through part of the unicorns and part of the chickens and part of the ducks. But what that means is that this hired hand will harvest or feed or whatever, anything in that little area. Alright? So he will probably go and harvest the first, looks like 2 rows of the unicorns when he's done. Same with the chickens and stuff. But the nice thing is he will feed the chickens, and when you feed the chickens from this square, it feeds all of the chickens. And so I'm kind of using this to my advantage. Like, if he fishes just this square, he will fish all of those fish. And not just those fish, but as I go down, you'll see that I have fish going across as well, and these areas up here will be more fish once I can put more fish in. So, for example, if I was to go to my fish, okay, that's Morena? I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it says I own 10 down at the bottom right. And if I go across, I own 12. I own 9 out of 25 bass. Looks like I don't own any oysters. Alright, and so if I want to plant some oysters, and I say plant kind of as a general term here, I can go and I can plant 9 oysters, just like that. Alright, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and plant another one right here, just so it's connected. Alright, and let me see if there's any other fish I don't own any of. 9, 10, 10, 9. Okay, it's looking pretty... Oops. So my clownfish, I'm going to plant those and 1 connector. Alright, see if there's anything else now. Now on this farm, like I said, it's an experimental farm, so I'm just kind of seeing what I can do with it. And those are the only fish I can open right now. Alright, so I don't really need to worry about that, but these fish are now in the group of things that can be harvested way up there at the front. Now, if I didn't have a hired hand here, I can fish this pond, and then this pond, and then this pond, and have all of my fish harvested. Alright? The hired hand, to hire this guy, or girl, woman, oh my gosh. Anyway, to hire that person, it costs 2 metals for, I think, an hour. Alright. Now here, this is a different kind of house. The other one I had a pirate ship. This one I have a tree house. So if I go in this house, my ovens are... You see I have everything in the same room just because I'm not really into the whole decorating thing. I just use them for stuff. So I'm going to go work on my painting. I'm going to go and harvest my food here. And this one. And now I can, since those were finished, I can plant, or I can build something new. So like if I spend 30,000 coins to make these muffins, and it looks like it's going to take 15 fruit? I can't see it. And then 15 cereals. I will harvest 14 tickets and 75 experience. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so this one I think I'll do something different just because. Sushi, it's going to take fish and cereals, and it will harvest 20 tickets and 75 experience. So you can see how it actually costs less and uses resources I have, and I will get more tickets and the same experience. Alright, so if I go to this piano... Alright, you can see that I have these different songs unlocked. In order to unlock this song, it says I have to have Old MacDonald Had a Farm at level 5, and I'm at level 3. And Are You Sleeping at level 5, and it's at level 3. So, I'll do Are You Sleeping? Again, all those kind of things are just so that I can get other stuff. This is the same as the vegetable stand, but you can sell a lot more vegetables with it. And I like it just for decorative purposes also. Alright. Now, if I said this is my experimental farm. If I go to my overall map, you see I've been working on just experimenting with like identifying things with text. I started off with a thing that said gas, because once your farm is really large, people have difficulty finding things. But then I got into like, hey, I wonder if I could do cursive. I wonder if I can, the asterisk down at the bottom is kind of a design I'm trying to work out for my my Pirate Cove. And it's silly because it doesn't do anything for me. But if I go over here to look at it, all I did was plant little crops here. Not really plant, I just tilled the soil. And by tilling the soil, you can see I'm right on the Y. It's a big waste of space, and if I start to put other stuff in here, it messes it up. But again, it's experimental farm. So I'm going to exit this. And I'm going to go to my farms. I'm going to jump back to our free tutorials farm that we started, because I'm going to need to water my carrots. Oh, it's winter. Alright, that's good. That means I can harvest more apples. But also, now it's down to not taking much time off, probably because it's winter. Sometimes it snows during winter and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it rains at different times and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest my apples. Pay off some of these trees that I bought. Now, one of the things that I really prefer are trees, flowers, and fish, because you don't have to continue to replant. But for quests, they will ask you for, 20 of this, or 20 of that, or 50 of this, or whatever. And once you get to larger, a larger sized farm with more resources, they will ask you for a whole bunch of stuff, like 650 wheat or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and collect these 75. So that almost pays for a whole tree. I keep pushing so that I can get my gas station, but I have to be level 2 to get my gas station. I'm only level 1 right now. So I might just have to start harvesting some things just because. So these carrots are going to be ready pretty darn quick. I'm just going to go ahead and wait this out so you can see a new quest pop up. I hope people can hear me. It would be kind of disappointing to do all this and find out nobody can even hear my explanation. I don't know why I have one plot here that's not watered, but... Alright. 2 seconds, 1 second. Okay. I notice I'm not plowing yet. I will here in a second. Oh, I leveled up. I'm level 2. Alright, I completed my quest. You can see up there I need to grow 30 carrots and 30 peanuts. Alright, so what should I do? Let me start by, you see, I can't see my my quest up there, so I'm going to go back up and go to my quest log and go down here and press X so that when I come back out it'll sit there and I'll know. It says I have 5 of 30 peanuts planted. Let me look real quick. If I was to go to shop, yeah, I need 2 metals for my gas pump, and I've only got the 1, so I need to finish one more quest. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of these things since chickens are not part of my quest. While I'm here, I'll feed them a little bit more. You can only feed them so much, so they'll be ready in 30 minutes. My fish are ready to harvest again. Okay. I'm just going to harvest things that are ready right now just because it's not part of this current quest. Okay. Now, once I do get my tractor, I can do 9 at a time, and you can see if I do 3 or 9 and 9, I've only got these, so I really would like to have another 2 rows. Alright, so there's 9, 18, 36. Okay, that should work. Alright, so I gotta plant 30 carrots and 30 peanuts. So what I may end up doing I'm making a larger place to plant. I notice it takes 10 coins every time I do this. And if in the beginning you can run out just by doing this, not even planting something. Why don't 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But what I started to say is you can run out of money just by making yourself a field. So remember to keep checking back to your little wishing well and taking what you can. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. That's going to give me, I'm going to get rid of these. That's going to give me a few coins for each one. Oh, darn it. All right. So now let me plant some peanuts. And as I add them, you'll see up there that like it says I have 6. But I really only need 25 because I've already harvested 5 peanuts. Normally, I plant a whole row no matter what I'm doing, but because I have limited resources in the beginning, I probably won't. $24, $25. So now I have 25 planted, I've harvested 5, and I needed 30. So now I'm going to go to my carrots. Once I'm done with this, I will show you the next piece here. If I had this as a video tutorial right now, I would just fast forward. So the purpose of making a larger field here is so that I can kind of easily see where everything is, what needs to be harvested, what needs to be watered, etc. 28, 29, 30. Okay. And as I start to complete things like up here, I will get rid of those extra plots and stuff. Because I can use this to put a barn or something like that. Now these flowers, if I click one here, actually if you click one here, because those two match, and then I click one here and click one here, I can move them down closer to an area where I can see them and not forget about watering them or whatever. Because they are different types of flowers, they take different amounts of time. See, 33 minutes, 56 minutes. Oops, let me get my coins here. Now, if you have Xbox, Farm Together is, I believe, still free in the Game Pass place. I can't remember what, I think it's called Game Pass. Now, another nice thing about this is if I go to my stuff that I can buy, you can't really see it here, but you see that like one of these things down here is going to be bamboo. And it's got that purple in the top right and lower left. That either means that I got it as a quest item, so that only people who finish that quest will have it, or it's part of a DLC package. The nice thing about the DLC packages is that they're like $4.99. Like the Pirate DLC I bought, again, it's a free game, so I didn't pay for the game, but I bought a Pirate DLC. They gave me the ship and costumes and things like that. And it was like $3.99 or something at the time. So that's my total cost of ownership of this game so far. Alright, so we just make sure that, whoops. All this stuff is out. Now, another thing you could do is you can move planted crops. So, like, if I do this, 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 but I can't put them out here. Like, well, then what's the point of being able to move it? You can only move them to areas that are already plants. Like, let me grab this one too. Not already plants, already plowed. Okay, so now all of my crops should be over here right now. Alright. I think I'm going to also move my chickens. Now notice I can put them in a square, or I can put them in a row. Okay, again, it says they need food now. That's what happens when you move an animal, is their food doesn't come with them. But if I just feed this first pile here, it put food all the way down at the other end. That's nice. Alright. And let me run over here real quick. I do a lot of organizing while I'm waiting for things to grow. Otherwise, I'd never be able to handle this game. These kinds of things keep me busy. Like I said, I've got OCD, so organizing things is actually good for me. I don't want to say therapeutic, but in some ways it is. It's like I have control of something in my life. Alright, so if I just start to put my fish over here. Alright. Harvest my coins again. See, a lot of these things are just investments. Like I said, you spend $100, 100 coins to buy an apple tree, and then you can only harvest 40 at a time, or 10 at a time. But if I harvest one little square of 9, I get 90 coins. Alright. Same with things like animals and stuff. Feeding them is the expensive part. The animals are my least favorite part because it feels like you spend so much money feeding them. Well, I'm just going to go and take a couple minutes off my crops. And after I do this, I'm going to take you to a bigger farm. And then maybe I'll take you to another quick starter farm, and then I'll take you to the large farm. The nice thing about carrots and lettuce and peanuts and things like that is it takes minutes instead of hours. Some of these quests will end up taking hours. And right now that seems ridiculous because you've only got one quest. But as you start to level up a little bit, it'll let you have more quests. And I'll show you some of my quests on my other farm as well. Pretty crazy for someone with OCD to go out of order like that, but obviously I'm thinking about it, so. Alright. We're almost into the next season, which is kind of what I'm waiting for. Do you have to get rid of these things? No. These ones that are already plowed, each one that I get rid of gives me 5 more coins. Now, that sounds like a good deal, but it cost me 10 coins to plant it, or to plow it. So I get half my money back. And that's something to remember too. If you recycle something, like I could go recycle a tree and I would get half of what it cost me to put the tree in. Alright, so this part of the farm is clear. So I should have everything I need in this little general area. Okay, it's spring now. Harvest my apples. You can kind of see that the farm has come together a little bit. Actually, I'm going to water these. Water those. You see that like my water indicator is down at the bottom left, and it's that raindrop looking thing with kind of a almost half full kind of indicator. And if I water it, it fills it up. Again, for flowers, the more hydrated it is, the more it stays valuable. That little kind of weird noise and flicker meant that I found the gold nugget. Right now, gold nuggets aren't that important, but hold on to them because later on you'll be able to trade them for supplies or whatever. As you go to level something up, like a warehouse, there's a warehouse that you can get. And it can cost millions of dollars to upgrade, but it's millions of dollars plus something like, 300 cheese or whatever, and it takes forever to make cheese. Or you can use a gold nugget and give yourself a cheese. So if you save them up, it saves you some time. Alright. Take another 4 minutes off my peanut harvest time. And I know it sounds crazy because it looks very mundane and, I don't know, just boring. But as you start to develop your farm and you kind of find patterns and things that you really enjoy doing, you can get rid of things you don't like. And there are some days when I will just go out here to harvest stuff, like my flowers on my big farm, and I will wake up hours later because it put me to sleep. And that's not in a bad way. That's not it was so boring it put me to sleep. It was relaxing. So it's something that I have found that I like. And it's a stress-free game. Like I said, if I walked away from this game for 6 months and came back to it, the stuff would be ready to harvest. Nothing would have rotted or anything like some of the phone games that I've had. I used to have some like Farmville and I'm trying to remember the other names of the other games. It's the same pattern. I wonder what's going on. Anyway, but I would have to set an alarm for like 3 in the morning to wake up and harvest my corn or whatever it was so that it wouldn't rot while I was sleeping. So I know that's crazy, but that's me. Alright, so we've got those all planted and ready. It looks like the carrots will be ready in 4 minutes, but no reason to be here. These aren't going to be ready until 11 minutes. Let me grab my coins again real quick. Check my fish. No, they're not ready to harvest. These are not ready to harvest. Okay, so I'm going to jump out real quick again. And I'm going to show you the little small farm that I started for my daughter, which I restarted today. I relaunched it. Got rid of everything on the farm. And you see that this is the little gas station. You see up in my gas meter, I have almost no gas. And when I hit this, it gave me almost no gas. Alright. The other thing I want to show you is this is a guest book. And so if I go to my guest book, it'll show me who is signed in. Well, nobody, because I just built it today. Alright. Go over here to this little tiny farm with nothing on it. And here's my fish. So that was 138 coins. Alright, looks like I'm supposed to grow 6 more peanuts and harvest 10 of those fish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Again, if I go up here, you see that she's got more things unlocked. The little exclamation mark above the cotton there shows that that's new since the last time we opened this. And as soon as I click on it or move over to it, that little exclamation mark goes away. The nice thing is, if I look up at the top of those tabs, I can see the exclamation marks above other things too, like trees and whatnot. That'll mean that there are other things I can plant there. And again, I use plant as a generic term. If I'm talking about horses or whatever, I might say plant. Now notice that I'm watering even though it's raining. Sometimes the water bucket marker will go away, but it still needs water. Also, I wanted to show you, I've harvested 4 fish, and you're looking at this, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fish. Well, if I just harvested those, why is it only 4? Well, if you look at your fish, it says catch rate is 50%. That means if you've got 10, you might catch 4 or 5. It's like up to 50%. So you can't count on it. Also, since I just went and got gas recently, look at my gas meter. If I go and collect it again, almost nothing showed up because my gas meter, you can see my gas indicator on the bottom left at the gas pump shows almost nothing in there. Later on, you can get a pump which helps to make that fill faster. All right, these peanuts will be ready in 15 minutes, but I still have, you know, a while. 30 minutes to go back and check this. All right, now you'll see that on this one, it's a pretty small little farm. All right, I'm going to go back and exit, and I'm going to show you a large farm now. It's actually the largest farm that you can make, and it's the farm that I started with. And I call it Whiskey Flats. From back in California, there was a place. All right. All right, so this looks very busy. And if I go over here to my my guest book, you'll see that people have been signing my guest book. And I guess I should have explained. You can set your farm so that other people can come and work on your farm for you. You know, and like if I go and look at my stuff over here to the left, remember how some of the things I was allowed to have 30 fruits? Well, here I'm allowed to have 12,440 because I've continued to build this up. My fish are full. I have 8,000 fish in my inventory. So if I was to go over to the fish market, and I start to sell, each time I sell I get 40 diamonds, 100 experience, and they take away 100 fish. So I can do this until my fish are empty and then just harvest more fish. Sometimes I'll leave some in here because I want to be able to cook things. I have several houses on this farm where I cook things. So you saw how hard it was to get diamonds and experience on the other small farms. You can see up there that my farm level is 199. If I was to put all of this experience that I'm getting toward one of those smaller farms, my farm would have been leveling up. Now, where you see the 199 in the upper right corner, you see that around the right side of the perimeter of the star, it's kind of a goldish color. As your experience grows, that will continue to go all the way around the star. And once it reaches the top point again, you level up to the next level. One of my goals has been level 200, so you see it's going to be a little while, but It's definitely doable now. Let me just look and see how much fish I have left here. So if I look over there, my fish, I still have 2,740 fish. I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave that for now. And as I walk through here, you'll see that I've got purple carrots. Those are different kinds of carrots are ready to plant. And probably those are part of a quest. And then these things over here are cucumbers. More cucumbers. You see there's a lot of cucumbers, and I have lots of different kinds of things planted. As I get down here, you'll see, oh, there's my unicorns. These little trees here, let me zoom in close, they were from the Halloween event. And right now they're not ready to harvest, but when they're ready to harvest, you will see cobwebs all over them. And what you're harvesting is the cobwebs, spider webs basically, because you use them for fabric or silk or something. Let me feed my unicorns. These are some other kind of horses. And you can see that they're kind of My Little Pony kind of things. They have things on their names. These are arcane horses. These are frost horses. I've done enough. And these are flaming horses. These were obtained during an event, and you can only own 18 of each. Now, let's say, for example, you have a farm and you want these kinds of horses. You have to either wait for the event or find someone who can put them on your farm for you. It still costs you the resources. I forget what the cost is, but somebody else can put things on your farm that you don't have access to, which is nice. Now you see there's a lot of fish along here. See another pirate ship. Again, some things I put for decorative purposes, like the cannons here. No real reason to have them other than to just mess around. Here's a couple of houses up here you'll see that I just kind of randomly placed. Different kinds of houses. And you'll see that that one has an indicator saying that it's done. So if I go inside, my painting is done. So now I can start a new painting. The only thing that I haven't unlocked here is that painting, and I have to have sweater level 2. So I have to paint another sweater. There we go. So I'll paint that. And if I go over here to my piano, I'm just going to randomly pick one. Now this over here, you can see that my daughter's been decorating my house for me. I have a little couch and a bed and a shelf and a unicorn. Here's the piñata. I haven't figured out if you can do anything with the piñata yet, but I don't think so. And then this over here is my washer dryer in my bedroom. I'm not sure why, but it's her thing. And I have my stoves. I can have up to 2 stoves, so let me just work on my cooking. Alright, so, and then there's another house over there. And again, you do that just to get tickets and medals and things like that. More fish. These over here are sprinklers. These little things in between these plots. And I put them all over the place. Every sprinkler takes some metal. So you can see that I've used a lot of metals on this. If I look at my overall map, because it looks like you can tell it's a large farm. Okay, so way over here is where my flowers are. The whole left side of my screen are different kinds of flowers. So if I was to look at this, I turn on my tractor here. As I just start driving down the different kinds of flowers, you see my railroad track there. I have a railroad. Now again, I mentioned I'm OCD, so not only are all my flowers on one side, but like for example, these are poppies. These are California poppies. These are white daffodils, yellow daffodils, purple daffodils, and pink daffodils. And you don't get them all at the same time. So what happens is you end up placing them, and then later you have to move everything. So, and then there are some things too, like rosemary. Now notice that I get 72 diamonds for every rosemary plant. So if I was to harvest these, that's 72 times 9. Alright. And some flowers, let me see if I can go back up here to 3. These are, well, they're flowers, but they're tea. Green tea, I get 166 diamonds every time. Red tea, 197 diamonds each time. And then black tea, 232 diamonds each time. So like, if, for example, if I start to harvest this, it's 232 times 9 in diamonds. And if I wanted to go buy something, like let's say a building, oh, that one might be a clothes shop, 550 diamonds. Well, I just harvest 2 of those teas, and it's more than pays for that building. So it really, I really like the flowers and stuff. And as far as money goes, because a lot of things take money, like these are diamonds. I try to put all my diamond things together, but these, for example, you remember those little wells, each one got 25 coins? Every single one of these pink lilacs, for example, gives me 31,000 coins. So 31,000 times 9. 22,000, 15,000. It's too bad these are harvested already. My Queen of the Night tulips give me a ton of money. I forget what the price is now. Alright, so I mentioned earlier there's a sprinkler going off. My warehouse. This warehouse, you can see from the back, is level 129. In order for me to upgrade to level 130, it's going to cost me 73,000 diamonds and 592 jams. You can see that in the bottom left. Alright, now the jams are difficult. Let me go up to where my jams are. Because if I go over here to my jam maker, it's going to take 5 diamonds and 50 fruit. Well, actually, it gives me 5 diamonds. It's going to take 50 fruit, and it makes 1 jam. Alright, so again, I need, 500 of them, and I currently have 110. Now, the problem with 50 fruit is if I go over to my fruit trees, and let's say I harvest a cherry tree. It gives me 1 fruit. So I have to harvest 50 trees to make 1 jam. Alright. Now, you'll notice I'm jumping around my farm pretty effortlessly. If I was to go back to my map, you'll see that I have all these number things on here. Like, let me go over here to number 1. You see there's a square platform with a 1 on it. That's a point of interest. And it costs you, I believe it might be 4 metals to build one, and you can only have, I think, 25 on a farm. But when you have a farm this size, it would take me a long time to go from where I am now down to where you see, actually it looks like I have 33 of them, 35. But like, let's say I wanted to go down to this area, I could do that instantly, whereas it would have taken me several minutes to drive there. Alright, the other thing I want to point out here is you see that there are areas here that are orangish in color, salmon kind of color. If I was to go down to these things, you'll see that I've got, these are Andalusian donkeys. and I have all of my donkeys together, of course. So if I was to feed these guys, there was 18,000 coins, 18,000 coins, 18,000 coins, right? So it's expensive. So you have to really keep up on all of your other harvests and stuff to do this. But you don't have to feed them. Your animals are not going to get sick or die or anything if you don't feed them. These are animal feeders, and if I could fill those up, I think we talked about those in another farm. They will keep growing. Let's see here. Keep feeding, I mean. And this is not the other one that... My other quest item over here. Alright. So again, it's expensive. Each time I do this, it's 120,000 coins being used for feed. And that's another 240,000. And another 240,000. So what did I just spend? About $1 million? And some things I put on here, like this little stable, are just decoration. Alright. And again, I have my marker there, my number 21. You see that I have a ton of fish here to harvest. And it just goes along in long little strips and not really seemingly like there's another fish shop. These are other little fish shops if I ever need them. And then this guy here is my fisherman. So if I go on his square, you'll see that he'll fish over on that side, he'll fish on this side. But you'll see that he also fishes up over there. So you'll see that down here are regular fish. Actually, these are the predatory fish, angler fish, and so on. These are hammerhead sharks, and these are my regular fish. And you'll see that they go way back here, way back there. On the other side of the pond, of the railroad here, are more regular fish, and they go way back. So if I was to stand on this guy's square, you'll see that everything inside that square is what he will fish. Now he doesn't reach way back there, but because he's fishing just out of those little areas, it'll do all of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and click pay him 2 medals. Actually, it's 2 tickets. And he will immediately start to fish. So I can go off and do other stuff now. And you can see that he's already working on my hammerhead shark project. So you're like, well, if you're growing cucumbers for a quest and you're growing, what was it, donkeys or whatever for a quest and all that, how many quests do you have? So if I go to my quest log, I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quests. So jalapeno peppers, I need to grow 360 Halloween peppers, 250 cucumbers, and I have 250 planted. Those were planted by people who come to my farm, by the way. 80 yellow zucchini, and I have 80 planted. Again, those are planted by people who come here. I need to, it looks like, have another 30 mushrooms about, and 90 purple carrots. Oh, I have 90 purple carrots. Mammoth donkeys. Leghorn chickens. Now, because of my limited size, red sorghum, I need 150 red sorghum. So red sorghum, and what was the other one? Cucumber. The 360 of something, I thought. Oh yeah, jalapeno peppers. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hammer that up to my right hand corner. And if I go back to my map here, I can look up here, like, say, number 3, for example. And so now if I go to plant, I'm going to plant, some jalapeno peppers. Now you can see that whoever harvested this didn't plow. It's kind of typically an etiquette that when you're on somebody's farm and you plow and you harvest something, that you replow after you harvest. It's just a nice thing to do since they're able to go and earn experience on your farm. You can see what a difference it makes having a tractor. Alright, so I have now 108 of those things planted. See, I'm still leveling up my fish and not even thinking about it. You can also see that I have over $3 billion on my farm. That's not something that happened overnight. It was one of those things that it took me forever to get $1 million. And then the next thing I knew, I was working on 10 million. And then I just kept pushing, and suddenly 100 million came a lot easier. And then it just kind of started to happen. I got my first billion a couple months ago. And once you get big enough, you don't really have to worry too much about money, because you just buy stuff you need. I have enough diamonds now and enough money that I can buy the things that I need for my farm without really stressing too much about it. Whereas on my other farms, you know, I'm gathering every 25 coins that I can think to gather. All right, and so whoops, ran out of gas. So I can continue without. You know, my carp's just about done. So, do I want to keep doing this, or do I want to pick up gas, or just want to ignore it? Let's see here. I think what I'm going to do is look around and see where my nearest gas is. Now, you see up at the top, I have a compass. When you start off, you might not have a compass, and you have to find that in settings. So I'm just going to go back to my base. And I'm going to go back and look up there now where I was planting all my peppers. Up near 28. So trying to figure out where it is. So all this stuff seems haphazard and stuff, and the reason I tried to do that was because I have things so laid out on the borders of my farm that I wanted the middles of my farm to look a little more natural. You see I have a lot of random trees and stuff through here. A lot of them are trees that you can even harvest. Some are not. But I did that because I wanted a natural look. I didn't want it to just look like this industrial farm. And like all these pathways and stuff, I never even used them. Like if I was to go along, you see the speed that I'm driving right now. This is just my maximum speed. But if I go and I get on the road, and I have random like jam makers and stuff around. And the reason I stopped planting my jalapenos is because I have 369 out of 360. Alright, so let me look and see if there's other stuff to show you on here. Okay, so if I go over here to number 10 and then go south, okay, these are my yellow zucchinis. So you notice up there it says Andalusian donkeys and jalapeno peppers. If I harvest something that's part of a quest, it pops up and tells me I've harvested 9 out of my 80. Let me go ahead and try to harvest this. And if I stop harvesting for a minute, like I'll drive, it doesn't really matter if you're driving or not. then it'll go back to the one that you have tagged up there. Alright, so the next thing is purple carrots and my red pine mushrooms. Now you'll notice again, I have 90 purple carrots planted and I need to harvest 90 purple carrots. My red pine mushrooms, I have 9 planted and I have to harvest 36, I think. Let me go back to my quest log. Okay, so I have 9 planted and I have 34 left to go. So I need 24. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can plant my... Are those the red pine? Yeah, those are the red pine mushrooms. I'm just going to plant 36 just to keep it even. Alright, so I've got those. Those will be ready in 9 minutes and 55 seconds. And these are cucumbers. Alright. You see it goes pretty quickly. Now, I'm not going to even bother with this because the purpose of this is not to level my farm or anything, but I wanted to show you some other quick things. I've got all of my trees. The entire right side of my screen is nothing but trees. Alright? And just like the other side, my left side of my screen is nothing but flowers. The entire bottom of the screen has rabbits, fowl, and then equestrian animals. The horses are the equestrian animals, donkeys, etc. And then the entire top has more farm type animals like pigs and, you know, that kind of thing, cows, ostriches, emus, rheas, etc. Llamas. The llamas are really cute though. They're like emo teenagers. Or alpacas, I guess they are, sorry. They're sheep. There's more fish over here. These are the bass. Okay. So, the other thing I wanted to show you is just stuff for decoration purposes. So, like, if I was to go down to, like, Area 15, this is my park. And I've got a big old bonfire here. I've got a stage, cameras, things like that. If I want to play something, it doesn't really play any music. Alright. I've got my water area with a boat and whatnot. There's like stadium seating if you want to sit and watch. You know, obviously you're not going to have a real concert or anything there, but got some places to get some food out here, some places to kick back on the beach, to barbecue. There's a lifeguard kind of hut. It's like you could sit in the life. Why can't I not say lifeguard? Some balloons and stuff for different kinds of parties people are having. This is my little soccer field. Now what's cool is you can actually kick your soccer ball. And that just gave me a point. What else? I think that's about it for like my large farm here. And you see there's a whole lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on. Um, and as I finish my quest, let's see if I don't remember if I finished anything, it will tend to add a new thing at the bottom. So like I don't have that added yet. Alright, and the event right now is a Valentine's event. Even though Valentine's is over, we've got still, another day or something on that. They do that so everybody will have time to finish it. Different decorations and stuff. Oh, there's also bees. Personally, I get irritated harvesting the honeybees just because it's so annoying. So what I do is I have a person here for 2 tickets that will harvest them all for me. And I need to be a little careful with my tickets. I'm down to, looks like 2,000 of them. But I have 2 areas. Oh, here's what I was talking about earlier with my trees. They're ready to harvest. If I was to harvest this, it gives me diamonds and fabric. Alright. If I go back up to number 9 over here, number 9 has a gas station. It has these things here. Now the more you level up these things, like for example, this is your feed mixer. You can continue to level that and your feed will get better so your animals will produce more. The problem is for me to do this right now, it's going to cost me 38 million and 100 jams. Alright? $38 million. So in order for me to level my cultivation table, meaning my crops will give me more money, it's going to cost me $55 million and 500 milks. So I have 500 milks. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to show you. $55 million to be out of... Oh man, I hate doing this. Alright, I'm just going to do it. Alright, so now I'm level 33 there. For the next one, I'm going to need 144 cheese. And it doesn't really tell me how many millions yet. In order to update this one, I need 128 cheese and 43 million. And this one is arborist. That's for harvesting trees. The hydroponic greenhouse, this is harvesting crops. And it's $30 million on 112 cheese. I don't know why you need cheese, but pond filter system, $20 million and 100 cheese. That will help you get more money from your fish. Here's another island of bees. And again, I'm just going to go and have this guy harvest them all. Again, using Guy in general. Alright, so I have my stuff organized so that people can find things easier. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, let me make sure I don't have anybody on my farm first. I don't. I'm going to go ahead and jump off my farm. And I want to go back to our free tutorials farm real quickly. Okay, and I can see that I have some stuff that's ready. Really what I would like to do is finish that quest so that I can get myself a tractor. I'm not going to bother plowing yet because first off, it's my farm. But second, I'm hoping to get the tractor before I have to replow so that I can do it quickly. Whoops, I guess I'm plowing that one. You can see up there at the top that I'm done 19 out of 30, 20 out of 30 for peanuts anyway. Oh, I leveled up my farm. Leveled up my peanuts. What happens when you level up a crop like peanuts is that you get more money and more experience from them. Alright, 10 out of 30 carrots. We're getting there. See what I mean? It can be a little monotonous sometimes. And you'll notice that when I harvest these, it says full. And what that's doing is it's showing me that if I look over there, my vegetables are full. I can only have 20 things, and I've got 20. I can only have 20 fruit, and I have 20. I can only have 20 nuts, and I have 20. So I definitely need to work on a barn after I get my tractor and stuff. Otherwise, all this stuff kind of goes to waste. It's like the way the government pays farmers to not produce. Alright, so now I have 2 metals. You see up in the upper right hand corner. And if I go to my purchase option and I go over here to the house, one of the options now is a gas station, gas pump. So I can take my gas pump and I'm just going to stick it right over here. Actually, I might turn it around. Well, it doesn't really matter. And so if I now click this, I now have a little bit of gas over there, which means I can ride my tractor. I'm gonna go ahead and feed these chickens. Alright, so now that I can ride my tractor, I am going to plow. And this is why I didn't do them one at a time. Okay, when I go to harvest my trees, see how much easier your life becomes because of the tractor. Alright, so let me go back now to my quests and see what my quests are. Looks like I have to harvest 40 zucchini. And I locked it up here so I could see it. If I go to my... Oh, it's not season for zucchini. Sometimes I'll just click through all of them just to make sure that I don't have any of the exclamation marks so that I know what's new. So that's zucchini. But oh, there it is. It has a little lock on it now. I don't think it had that there a second ago. So it's able to plant in spring and winter. And right now it's fall. Well, I could wait. Let's see, how long is it going to take? Well, alright, while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and go over here and water this and harvest those, water those. You'll notice that some things he hops off his tractor to harvest. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to exit the game again. Now I want to show you a new thing, and that is to go to other people's farms. So if I was to go to Find Farms, it's going to pop up with some suggestions. Okay, so I could look on here, and there's Paisley, Crone, etc. And I can kind of look down and see different kinds of farms. Now this isn't all the farms that are online, it's just the ones that they suggested right now. Now notice that Paisley's farm says Harvest Custom. This is Harvest Only, Harvest Custom, None. It doesn't do you any good to go to ones that say None because you can't do anything. The people who do Quest and Harvest are nice because, like, if they have to have, say, 85 zucchini, you could actually go and plant 85 zucchini on their farm. It won't let you plant 86, and if they've already got 85 zucchini planted, you can't plant any more, but it's kind of nice. Let me just go to Paisley's real quick. She has 516 million coins, 31 million diamonds, and 34,000 metals. Right? And then you got somebody else who maybe has 1 million, 7,000 diamonds. Actually, let me go to Opie's first while I'm here. Alright, so if yours is set up to be shared, other people can come and look at your farm. Sign the guest book and have fun, it says. Alright, well the guest book is over here. So I will go ahead and sign it. Looks like they're pretty new. And I will do sign. And I haven't really looked at their farm yet, but I'm just going to say happy to help or something like that. Alright? And so it looks like they have fish that I can catch. Now, as I'm doing this, if you look up to the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a thing that says 1 minute with a little lightning bolt next to it. What's going on is I'm building up credit so that when I go back to my farm, I will have 1 minute now of time when I get a boost in my experience and money. If I keep harvesting, eventually I will have 2 minutes. It looks like their focus is largely fish and some trees down there. Now, something people should know is when you're harvesting someone else's farm, you're getting credit for harvesting, but you don't get credit for each item. Depends. They get all the credit for the items you're harvesting. We get some gas because on somebody else's farm you don't start with gas. But let's say that there's an event like the cotton candy event. If I was to go to someone else's farm and they had 100 cotton candy and I harvested 100 cotton candy, I would get credit for 100 cotton candy and they would get credit for 100 cotton candy. So it's like double dipping. Looks like they don't really have anything else for me to do here. So if I was to leave and go to another person's farm. So a lot of times you'll go on someone's farm and you'll start to harvest one of their big quest items, like cotton candy, for example, or unicorns or whatever. And people will freak out that you're taking their stuff, and they don't really understand that they are also getting credit for that stuff. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Paisley's farm. Okay. It says harvest the crops, trying to earn more tickets, help with the quests. Alright. So again, I have no gas right now, so I need to use the fuel. This is why most people will put a gas pump right near their first bus stop. Alright, and you see that they've got a lot of stuff going on here. Little bakery and fish shop and all that kind of stuff. So if I was to look at her map, you see there's a lot of orange areas. That means those are things that she's doing as quests. So if I go up to, like, let's see, number 19, go north a little bit, she's already harvested these, so she's not going to need help with that. I don't see any quest items. You can kind of tell the quest items that need help or the areas that need to be harvested because they have little like X's. Like if I was to look down there by the 13, oh, there we go. Actually, I'll just go down by the 10. You see the little, like how it doesn't look like solid green, it's got little black dots or something? That means those are individual items that can be harvested. So now you see I've got 2 minutes of time built up in my upper left indicator. Now I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing right now, and that is harvesting different types of crops. And I'll explain right here in a second, once I realize how deep I've gone. Let's say that you go and you harvest 10 of somebody's horses, and then they get a quest where they're supposed to have 100 horses. So they go, and only 90 of them are ready because you've harvested 10. And they have to wait for the entire amount of time to get all of the horses again. Alright, so on this, I'm doing pink lilacs right now. She's got so many, I don't think it's going to really matter. But it's a good idea if you start to harvest something that you finish up, and if there's something that you do need to plow afterwards, like I just got her a gold nugget. Alright, so anyway, this is an example of that. Let me exit my game again. And I want to show you the last thing here, which is customize. Alright, actually let me look at settings real quick first. And if I go to my game settings, I can have it show tutorial, yes or no, reset, etc., and then create a ban list. I've only got one person on my ban list, and that was a person that would come through and purposely harvest random pieces here and there. You can also change your interface. So for example, you can have it show certain dialogues, and expert mode just means it turns off a lot of the indicators. Compass, yes, that's what I have mine set to. I really like my compass because I lose track, my farm is so big, etc. Alright. Controls, you can adjust your controls, your sensitivity, things like that. Toggle run. Alright, and then now we'll go to customize. And this is what a lot of people really enjoy. Now notice up here that mine says dressy. If I go up, I can choose my firefighter. And so if I look at my firefighter now, that's what he looks like. Alright. Now, first off, before I show you all that, I'm just going to show you like a general, like if I just start off, my character looks a lot like me, but with my Valentine head thing on. If I decide I want to look different, I can change my complexion, my hair color, my eye color, my height. Alright. And I can choose my outfits. And now you won't have all of these because I've gotten some of them, you know, for example, if I go to this one, that was from my pirate pack, and as were these others. I got some through quests. Alright. And etc. So you basically pick what you like. And my Griff character, I just kind of try to have it look like me everyday life. So there's not really a lot that looks like me everyday life, so I just kind of have to pick and choose a little bit. Like typically I'd wear something like that. So if I go over here now you can choose your face, sorry, and your hair, or hats or whatever. So like fishing hats, I got in a quest, different kinds of styles, cultural appropriation here, craziness. Alright, I usually, when I was teaching, I would keep a pencil over my ear, um, facial piercings, scuba stuff, all eye patches, whatever. And then you've got a choice of what kind of backpack you would wear. Um, Personally, I like having the little wings, but my daughter, who just turned 8 yesterday, um, thinks the wings look weird on me. So I keep those off. And on my head, I think it's time to take off my Valentine ears. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say I'm going to do a fishing guy. Or ball cap. It's kind of a farmer looking thing. A beanie. I got a message from Paisley. I hope it wasn't a bad message. I hope I didn't mess something up. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave mine like that, and I click B for back, or actually X for save. Alright, now the other thing is, you can change your emotes, and the emotes are with your left, right, up, or down kind of button. So for example, I have my first one is just waving. My second one is, hey, good job kind of thing. My third, and my last one is this silly floss thing that I did. Like, okay, the other thing is, like, you can do this to call somebody. You can also do that, and you get achievement for calling your pet. But it annoys me, so I don't do it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep that one. Alright, and the next thing is, if I go to tractor, I can choose different types of tractors. So for example, I have mine, since this is just me, it's kind of a beat down, like if I was going to own a tractor it would look like that. But like, there are different styles of tractors. So like, let me just pick one like that, for example. And if I was to go over and choose a print on it, that's an alien looking thing, looks like a face, a clown. Can't really tell. Oh, reindeer? Something like that. So let me go and try a different kind. Actually, I'm gonna go back to my original and then just try a different design on it. Okay, there's flames, which is kind of cool. You can barely see it. So what I need to do is change my colors. So like maybe yellow. Well, that's yolk. Interesting. And maybe there we go. Or do I want to have something like a black tractor? Oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, and then I can even change my antenna ball. So, gosh, what is me? Got a coin, whatever that thing is. Gold nugget. Flower. I'm thinking a star. I think I'll just go gold star. Alright, and then I do X for save. Then the last thing here, well, not the last thing, but I can choose different animals. Again, some parrots I got through the pirate pack. Things like the bat I got through a Halloween event. There's dogs, there's cats. Let me pick something like a cat. Alright, If I was to go now to the collar, there's different collars I could put on this kitty. There's different charms for her collar. You can choose their eye color, their collar color. Like maybe I want it to be, I don't even know, purple or something? Light purple. There we go. Alright, that works. And then I can do save. Alright. So, my farm hands, I can choose what my farm hands are dressed like also. You probably will only have one option if you're just getting started. I don't know, it doesn't matter. And so let me go back to customize real quick. At the very bottom, one of the things that most people miss is if they click presets and I go X, you see I've got all these things up here. These don't come with your game. Down at the bottom, you'll see there's a create option. So if you wanted to create something new, you could do that down there. So I have one I saved as Halloween, one I saved as Thanksgiving, Christmas, Griff that you already saw, Dressy. See, even my tractors in the background are changing. Got a Dalmatian for my, hey, I have that same tractor. My pirate. Cowboy. Now you hear the dogs. You have to listen to that the whole time you're playing if you have a dog. Same with the birds flying. That's the Valentine guy that my daughter made me. So what I tend to do, to be honest, is I tend to not have a pet because they worry me, which sounds stupid, but like if you have a pet out there, I keep feeling like I'm gonna run them over and you can't. Alright, anyway, so if I go back to my farms and let's finish up on the free tutorials farm where we started. Okay, and now while I'm here, just looking at the message I got from Paisley, she said that she really doesn't mind. Oh look, and I have a guest on my farm. She really doesn't mind people harvesting some of a thing. I'm trying to see where I lost it here. I will find it, but she said she doesn't mind harvesting some of a thing. So here. Alright. And I can harvest that. So what she's doing is she's going to look for stuff to do, but there's really not a lot. So what I'm going to do is jump over to a farm where she can do something. Probably. I feel bad that she came over to help. Alright, so I'm going to jump over. Now notice that I can add her to the favorites. I can also give her more permissions if I want. So like maybe I want her to be able to build because I know who she is. Alright. Can you harvest the trees? if you have your microphone enabled, people can hear you. So I just realized that she'd be able to hear me. She missed one. She's gonna do that just to bother me. Alright, so I need to plant 40 zucchini. Is it zucchini time yet? It is zucchini time. Uh-oh, she left. I hope I didn't offend her. Alright, now I'm planting this even though I don't think I'm going to be spending too much time on this farm. So let me go ahead and exit this farm. And go back to... Well, actually, let me go to Find Farms again, and I'll see if Becky is on her farm. She is. Okay. So this is Becky's farm. She just started this, oh, maybe a week ago. And you can see she's doing really well. This is all the stuff she's got. So you can see that all of those things up there that are kind of dirty colored, mottled colored, are things that are ready to be harvested. I'll have to get out of her way here. Now, when I talk, you'll notice that the thing that says Ask Griff over there on the right has a little speaker thing. That means she can hear me. If you can hear me, spin around in a circle. Yep. Alright. So, this is something to be careful of, and something that I realized very recently. I was on somebody else's farm, and this song came on that I know on YouTube, and so I start singing along with it, and I sing the whole song and I'm just belting it out, and then I get a message from them on Xbox saying, I'm sorry, I don't have speakers hooked up. And I said, what do you mean? And they're like, she said, I can't hear you, you're talking. And then I realized I've been singing the entire time to this farm, not even realizing that, you know, I was completely alone in my house. Never in my life have sang a song before. And here I am singing, just belting it out for everybody that was on the farm. But thankfully, she didn't hear it. I mean, she did go back and capture the last minute, I think, of the chat because she thought it was so funny. But I'm not going to share that. That's just terrible. Alright, so I don't have any fuel, so I can't really do anything to help her at this point. Whoops, I just went into her house. Did not mean to do that. I'm going to go down here and get some fuel. It's not a lot of fuel, but it does let me drive. Alright, so if I go up here to... She's only got one point of interest point. And if I go up and I start to harvest, and then replant, oh, those are no longer quest items. We must have finished our quest already. Alright. Looks like we've got all that covered. So if you want, you can again go sell your stuff. But you might want to hold on to them if you're going to be cooking something. She has another house over here that's done. This is kind of a mission style house. And not really decorated or anything yet. I don't know if she's got any appliances or anything. Looks like she's got something going on in here. Just a bed. And you can actually use these things. Again, hold the trigger to walk faster. Alright, so I'm going to jump out again. And I will go back to my big farm, my Whiskey Flats farm. Alright. And if I go over across my street here, got a barn, I've got a place to sell gold nuggets, but I have my tree house. Now my tree house is a little ridiculous. Alright, as I get different prizes, the pink bear for example, or the ice bear or whatever, these weird rugs, all these random lights and stuff, whoops, I stick them in this place just to have one place to put them. I've received some trophies and you know, the birthday cake and stuff and all that kind of stuff. Might as well do this stuff while I'm here. Now, if I hold down my trigger, I walk a little faster. But if I let go, it's slow again. So what I can do is go to my settings, controls, and where it says toggle run, I'll say yes. Alright. And so now if I do the faster walk, it stays on. I've got my finger off the trigger now and it stays walking fast. The other thing is you can do rooms and stuff that are like in themes. When I was doing my Halloween event, I made a vampire room. See the wallpaper? Notice that my clocks, well you probably won't notice because you might not be watching this live, but my clocks say 2:05 because it's 2:05 actual in my time. I can actually lay in my casket thing, sit in my chair. Whoops, what did I do? There we go. All right. And let's see. I don't think there's a lot else to cover here. Nope, looking pretty good. I think that should be enough to get you going. And these sizes down here are not like a standard size or anything on my plots. I just did, my plots are 6 across, so that I could harvest like evenly. And then it's 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 6 by 18. So there's 108 total. And I have, like for example, if I wanted to harvest this, I could go like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I've got that whole section harvested. Now, you could double that, triple that, quadruple that, make an entire farm with nothing but zucchini if you wanted. But I started off with that size, and so I just kind of kept it going, and it ended up being with a road here and there in between the right kind of width. Now, if I was doing my farm over, what I might do is think about where the, let me go back down to my fisherman guy is. Alright, so if I was to go over here, what I might do is plant crops all around this guy in one square. And animals and so on. So that you just come along and click it, pay 2 tickets, and then walk away and it harvests all of your stuff. So that's something I might do. But I don't know. I also like knowing that if I have to harvest, you know, birds, fowl of some sort, they're all in the same area and it's pretty easy to get to. Also, these fences and stuff are not necessary, but you've got to be careful because on some of them, if you have a fence separating things and you take the fence out, then the things are connected and you can't put a fence back in. Oh, I'll show you an example of something that takes a lot of maintenance is these ducklings. So like, it says no food. If I feed it, then the food will be gone in like, where did it put the food? I'm not even seeing the food. That's because I think I'm out of food again. So in order to keep these things fed, watch, I'll feed them, and I'll feed them all the way to the top. It can hold 9 food. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, then how did I do 10? Well, because it's already used up another one, and now another one, and another one, and another one. That's how fast I go through the food. Alright, now I can put some in the feeder over here, but that only fills up a couple spots. So what I did was I put this guy here, and if I pay this person 2 tickets, they walk around feeding constantly. And that duckling apparently was ready to harvest, and so is this one over here. And so they'll harvest any ducklings and then keep feeding them as it needs food. So just for peace of mind, there are a couple things like that. Here's an example of I needed a couple of these turkeys. And these over here, these Plymouth Rock chickens, I don't have a fence and they're staying in their area. I added extra Plymouth Rock chickens just because I was going through this thing where they needed Plymouth Rock chickens for every flipping quest. Now, you can actually, if you push them just right, you can actually push things out of their square, but they'll end up back in their square in a little while. Whoops. Alright, so you see that chicken will eventually head back into his square. Even if they're outside of your fence line. Like if I just put a fence here and they were out of the fence, they would end up back inside the fence when I came back to my farm. Alright. Let me check my farm, make sure nobody's on it. It'll say over there to the right. I've got 3 gold nuggets saved up, which doesn't really help me in my quest to get 112 jams. Let me go to that little building and I'll show you that real quick. So for example, this right here is the pawn shop. And if I go here, I can I can pawn gold nuggets. So like for example, 10 gold nuggets is 1 metal. No way. 1 gold nugget is 20 fruit. 1 gold nugget is 25, what is that, grapes? I think it's grapes. 1 gold nugget is 50 cereal. But the stuff that I really need are these stupid jams. And 3 gold nuggets is 3 jams. So I did that. Now I don't have any gold nuggets and I have 3 more jams on my quest toward 500 and something jams. Alright, so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Whether you're watching this live or back, just get in touch with me and I will look for it. Well, thank you for visiting, and for those of you who are still here, I appreciate it. Oops, I gotta plant some carrots, but I'll do that later. Thanks, guys.